more than 20% of the target after 2 months of its introduction. Plus, today is MSME Day, and as the United Nations call for awareness of the role small businesses play in our economy, we find out what it means to be an entrepreneur in Ghana today. Also, Trade and Industry Minister makes passionate appeal for Bank of Ghana to make liquidity available for MSMEs as government opens business resource centers in the capital.
Let the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank, the Bank of Ghana, put together a loan guarantee scheme that will release the liquidity in the banks to support the development of micro, small and medium enterprises.
All these stories and more coming shortly with me, Charles Ayitey, but we'll begin with commodities. Hello and welcome. Now, tonight, the United Nations General Assembly has designated today, the 27th of June, as Micro, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Day to raise awareness of the tremendous contributions of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, also known as MSMEs, to the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Here in Ghana, though, MSMEs account for 90% of businesses, 60 to 70% of employment, and 50% of GDP worldwide. As a backbone of societies everywhere, they contribute to local and national economies and to sustaining livelihoods, in particular among the working poor, women, young persons, and even government organization groups. But there are unique challenges bedeviling the sector. 44,000 of them shut down during the heat of COVID, and close to 1 million more are yet to receive some stimulus from government. In all of this has been the startup bill aiming to stem the tide. Well, helping me discuss is SHERIF GHALI, CEO of the Chamber of Entrepreneurs, as well as David Ofori, the Director of Operations at the Accra Digital Center, which falls under the Ministry of Communication, which is sponsoring the startup bill. They both join us shortly, but first, let's connect with Anthony Jamefe, serial entrepreneur and founder of Caveman Watches. Of course, we'll try the best we can to raise, of course, Anthony, especially when we're having issues with connection. But let's move on to SHERIF GHALI, the CEO of the Chamber of Entrepreneurs. We're grateful, SHERIF, that I could join us. What are the urgent requests that small businesses want from government that are being delayed or denied?
So thank you very much, Charles, for the opportunity. And then let me also say that a very big happy World SME Day to all SMEs, especially SMEs owned by young people. So, Charles, it is quite very simple, and it's not anything that nobody has to not know. We all know what SMEs are asking from government day in and day out. We are basically looking for three things as SMEs. Number one is access to market. How can government support SMEs to have that access to market so that whatever we are producing, we are able to have market for it, so that at the end of the day, we don't just produce and it's sitting there. The third thing, or the second thing, is that how can we have financial support so we can scale up? You gave some beautiful numbers, and that also sad numbers as well. Because these are the reason is that most of these SMEs do not get the needed financial support they want so that they can scale up. So at every point in time, Ghanaian SMEs are still doing the brick and mortar businesses. We will talk to them about scaling up. We talk to them about opening up so they can employ. But there is no support coming from anywhere. And some of these SMEs revenue is nothing to write home about. So how can these people grow with this meager revenue if government is not deliberate enough about supporting or pushing some financial support to them? Let's talk about the financial institutions. They don't want to even listen to the Ghanaian micro and small enterprises because they are too risky. So where are we heading to? And then the last thing is the capacity. The capacity of these SMEs are telling government that put in structures that will build our capacity. It could be government-funded incubation that can support young people, young entrepreneurs, and all SMEs. How can you build our capacity so that we can also leverage? These are the three key things that SMEs are looking for: access to market, access to finance, and capacity. And this is just it. It's not like we need anything too extra. This is just what SMEs need in Ghana.
SHERIF, what happened to the startup bill? I know that you're part of the team that is currently drafting the bill and working on the bill to make sure that it's passed, but it's been so long, over 2 years now. What's happened to it?
Through Charles, it's been too long, and yes, that's a reality. Charles, for us as ecosystem enablers and coming together somewhere 2 years ago to help in the drafting process of the bill, we can literally say we've done our work. We have been able to consult all the stakeholders that are supposed to be consulted. We've been able to draft a bill. And as I speak to you now, the bill has been subjected to economic and political risk analysis, and that has been done. The next thing we are supposed to do is to engage the likes of David and his ministry, that is the Ministry of Communication and Digitization, and they will take it up to our sponsor ministry so that it can be sent to cabinet, through to parliament for a passage into what we call an act. So at our end as enablers and as people who are leading the bill, we have done our best. We've gone to every region. We have engaged stakeholders. We have drafted the bill. It went through about 6 or 7 reviews. Today, we have one that have also gone through the economic analysis, and we are happy to say that we are ready to present it to the Ministry of Communication for onwards presentation.
All right,
yes.
Let's bring in David Ofori, Director of Operations at the Digital Center. We know that you're sponsors of the startup bill to an extent. How soon are we to expect it on the floor of Parliament? SHERIF has already spelled out the fact that they are enablers, and of course they've made all the work to ensure that this is really, really feasible in the sight of our policymakers. But from the perspective of your endeavor, how soon are we expecting it on the floor of Parliament? Kindly unmute, David, so we could hear you better.
Sorry about that. Thanks for that, Charles, and good evening to your listeners and the viewers. Yes, I would want to be a bit cautious because you can be held for contempt if you talk about something regarding Parliament and it doesn't get around that time. So, but what I do know, and I'm part of the working committee on this document as well, and so everything SHERIF said is correct. Of course, the slowdown because some engagement had to be physical. I mean, we can try and do digital engagement all you like, but certain things people have to move. So COVID slowed us down a bit, but I think we are where we need to be, even though we are behind schedule. At the moment, the good thing is that my Honorable Minister is informally aware, so she's very much looking forward to it. The ministry, the Chief Director of the ministry is also very much aware, informally, of course, and I put informally because they know that this document is coming, which is good. So the ground is well prepared. I mean, I dare say that even in the corridors of Parliament, some MPs do know that this is something that we're working on. But then I cannot commit to a timeline because then I could be in contempt if I said that this will be in Parliament at this time and it doesn't get there. Because it first of all has to go to Cabinet and then be forwarded to Parliament.
So are we still in the infant stages of this particular bill?
No, we're not in the infancy. I mean, that's a good thing. The document has gone through a lot of rigmarole. A lot of stakeholders have been engaged, and like SHERIF alluded to earlier on, a lot of stakeholders have been engaged, and there's been even a travel around the country to even gauge the sense of what other regional, contribution that can be made to the document, so that when it comes out, at least it's a document that we all can appreciate. Of course, you cannot always not please everybody at the same time, but at least you have something that we can work with as a country and develop on from there. Our neighbors like the Nigerians or the Rwandans have all done it, and it's good. And it's something that we need to do for our startups and for our SMEs. Yeah.
Let's talk about your, portfolio, the Digital Center. And I'm curious to find out what reforms the Digital Center is deploying to make SMEs more competitive with communication and technology.
Right. I mean, of course, in the fourth industrial revolution we are in, the SMEs, for them to scale, you may not be necessarily a digital SME, but for you to scale, you need digital platform. You can never scale without digitalization. So for us as a digital center, we are an enabler, and our job is to really, if you like, marshal policymakers, marshal other stakeholders, be it entrepreneurs, be it regulators. So for instance, if you want to even, what is our spectrum looking like? If people want to ride on the back of digital platforms, what is the bandwidth in Ghana? How quickly can you download things? How quickly can you learn? How quickly can you even have some of these digital highway communication platforms like we're using now as Zoom? If you have to engage a business partner in Australia or in Sri Lanka, how good is that platform? So these are all things that come into the mix. As a digital center, we advocate a lot. We engage our mother parent ministry of Communication and Legalise. And I must say that the Honorable Minister, Usu Akufo, is very committed to some of these things, and the fact that she always is keeping us on our toes by asking for KPI. Right. The digital center itself plays host to a number of SMEs, about 35 companies that we play host to, but that is not enough. There are a lot more out there that needs that kind of support to even have prepared infrastructure that are affordable for them to be able to do their business. And that's what we are focused on, expanding across the country, so that some of these things that we see at Accra Digital Center can be seen in Kumasi, Tamale, Takoradi, Volta, and all the other parts of the country.
All right, David, we hope to see most of these interventions that you are, putting together to, raise the competitiveness of SMEs really come to fruition, especially when we continue to hear the complaints, especially from the likes of SHERIF. But in the meantime, we're grateful that you could share with us your thoughts on MSME Day. We're also grateful to SHERIF GHALI of the Chamber of Entrepreneurs for sharing his thoughts as well. You're still watching Business Live, and we'll still stay with matters regarding SMEs because the Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin, has made a passionate call on the Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance to join forces in establishing some loan schemes that will ensure the release of funds to micro, small and medium enterprises. The call follows an observation that Ghanaian businesses may be losing out on international opportunities that can bring some foreign exchange into the country. More in this report.
The official launch of the business resource centers across the country marks the beginning of a new journey for the operation of micro, small and medium enterprises, especially in rural areas. Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin, told the gathering that government is keen on supporting micro businesses to make them grow to support development projects. He used the occasion to call on the central bank to institute soft loan schemes for the players in the industry.
Minister of Finance here, let the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank, the Bank of Ghana, put together a loan guarantee scheme that will release the liquidity in the banks to support the development of micro, small and medium enterprises. All the people we are celebrating, the Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, they all started as small micro enterprises. Some of them actually had to quit school to start something on their own. Today we are here celebrating them. Even in our own local circumstances, our celebrated companies, Casapreco, Despite, Sampo, all of them, they all started as small businesses. So you can be a billionaire yourself, but you have to work towards it. And government is there to support you.
Chief Executive of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kosi Anki Aye, assured that the agency is seeking to support more businesses through its initiatives. She disclosed that an amount of 520 million cedis has been invested into the MSME sector.
The past 3 years, under your direction and leadership, the interventions such as the Coronavirus Alleviation Program Business Support Scheme, the Recovery and Resilience Program, the Ghana Economic Transformation Projects has transformed the lives of over 300,000 MSMEs across the nation. A total of over 520 million Ghana cedis have been invested in MSMEs, and I believe a lot of them are here today. All of you who have received support can wave your hand so we can actually acknowledge you.
The creation of the Business Resource Centers is partly supported by the African Development Bank and International Fund for Agricultural Development through the Rural Enterprises Program.
Now, according to a recent research by the Ghana Enterprises Agency, most micro, small and medium-sized firms in Ghana are reluctant to formalize their operations because of taxes. Associate Professor of Economics at the University of Ghana, Professor Ayitey, indicates that this is impeding the activities of MSMEs, with only 15% of them collaborating with banks to grow their businesses and only 13% applying for loans.
Baseline research will assist the Ghana Enterprise Agency in developing policies that are supported by facts and will have an influence on the sector of micro, small and medium-sized businesses. The report states that majority of micro, small and medium-sized businesses engage in agro-processing. Professor Ayitey contends that these small enterprises lack technical innovation and low rates of technological adoption.
So the key highlights are the following. One, most firms are informal. Most firms are not innovative. Most firms are micro, small-sized. Most firms also have low foreign technological adoption. Most firms do not export, but we have a high proportion of these firms employing skilled labor. In fact, about 50% of the labor force that we find in the micro and small enterprises are skilled labor force, which also means that our micro, small, medium enterprises have the capacity to adopt technology because they have skilled labor manpower. And so it's important that if they are not adopting foreign technology to expand their businesses, they are supported to do so.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer for the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kosi Yankee Aye, indicated that her outfit will continue to engage and sensitize small businesses across the country.
I think that businesses are not formalizing not only because of taxation, but for comfort. And I think that one of the things we need to address is really for them to understand what formalization is about. If you're worried about growing your business and building a better future for you and your family in some instances, then that's a challenge. And the reason why I say that is a challenge is that when you ask the businesses what their major challenges are, they say access to finance. Now, if access to finance is a challenge for you, why is that a challenge? It's because your businesses are not formalized. And what I mean, or what everyone means by formalization, that they don't have the right documentation. They're not keeping the right books. So if you're not keeping the right documentation or the right books, which bank will open their doors for you? The banks won't open your doors. Which institution will talk to you? No one will talk to you. Even when they open their doors and they ask you, what do your books look like? You don't have any data. So as much as possible, the formalization is needed if we're going to address the challenges of access to finance. Now you talk about access to markets. Who wants to work with a business that they don't even know where it exists or if it's actually going to provide the tools and the services it needs? So formalization is key. So you build stronger relationships.
Well, an entrepreneurship clinic organized by students of the KNUST has described many local businesses as risk-averse, a condition where entities are reluctant to take risks. Experts attribute this to a lack of access to funds, type of businesses operated, and financial knowledge. There is more in this report.
The KNUST Entrepreneurship Clinic saw business owners sharing their entrepreneurship experiences with students. Industry players are observing some hesitancy in Ghanaian business startups in taking risks. The fear, they believe, prevents small businesses in Ghana from taking transformational opportunities. Chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, Ashanti, Bono East and Ahafo regions, Kwesi Nyameche believes risk-taking in business puts them in a better business position.
But to be an entrepreneur or to be a business person, you shouldn't be afraid of risk. You should be ready at any time to take a calculated risk. Businesses are bound, and sometimes when you meet Indians and some foreigners in the country and you tell them, oh, my colleague is in the US, he's in here, they ask you, what are they doing there? Opportunities are here in Ghana. And indeed, opportunities are here in Ghana. Just that most Ghanaians prefer taking salaries comfortable and they sit there.
Through the KNUST Entrepreneur Clinics, thousands of tertiary students have been trained in venture creation. CEO of Adroit Bureau, Kojo Samwood, urged students to create solutions to everyday problems by being observant.
One has to be observant. One has to be observant to spot opportunities. So what are people complaining about? What are people finding difficult to do? What are people finding difficult to achieve? That may be a business opportunity. But if we are not observant and we are not listening, sometimes you have to go on social media, listen to what are people talking about, what is the challenge? There may be a business opportunity in that.
CEO of ACE Consult, Marilyn Owusu, said entrepreneurs should be prepared mentally from the start.
Just be versatile. Let's have a business idea, let things grow out of the business, and eventually it's bottom line entrepreneurship and bottom line making money. So be versatile.
In the end, some selected participants were coached while others had the opportunity to qualify for business incubation. Mona Lisa Frimpong reporting.
And you're still watching Business Live. We're going for a short break. We're right back. Just stay with us. You're welcome back. Now, the tax on electronic transfers has failed to hit the minimal target after 2 months of its introduction. According to the close confidant of President Akufo-Addo, Gabi Asare Ochudako, the tax has been able to mobilize just 60 million cedis out of the projected 600 million cedis. Let's show you what he tweeted. Of course, earlier today, it raised that after 5 months of stalemate and bashing, the e-levy after implementation is delivering only 10% of estimated revenues. Our revenues remain very low as compared to the rest of the world, but debt levels dangerously high. The cedi, like most currencies, struggling against the US dollar. Are you surprised about this? This was a question that he posed followers and, of course, the Ghanaian community in a tweet earlier today. And it's quite obvious that this opens up government intention of going in for an IMF program. But away from that, gospel artist Diana Ayitey Hamilton is urging Ghanaians to take pride in their national heritage and consciously patronize made in Ghana goods. Now, this is in a bid to protect businesses in Ghana and beyond, create jobs and grow small and medium-scale enterprises. Diana Hamilton was speaking to Love News at a ceremony to officially sign her up as brand ambassador for Property Electronics.
The event was to sign up popular gospel songstress Diana Hamilton to promote the Property Electronics chain of brands. The Ghanaian-based indigenous business giant has been trading in home appliances. The move is in line with the government's push for high patronage of indigenous Ghanaian businesses. Speaking at the signing ceremony, gospel singer Diana Ayitey Hamilton called for investment in Ghanaian manufacturing businesses to promote industrialization.
But then also I want to use that opportunity to tell everyone, those hearing me now, those that will hear me later, every Ghanaian to take pride in what we have and use it so that one, it will make these companies grow, and then also you feel proud to be using something that is homegrown. Everyone knows that I am very much into things that are home. I will not do anything that is not African. We believe in longevity, we believe in consistency, we believe in hard work that pays, and this is what Property Electronics are doing.
Head of Enterprise at Stanbic Bank, Eric Chiri, called for more investment into the private sector, and he pledged Stanbic's support to the growth of Ghanaian private businesses.
What we have seen being demonstrated here by Tony Sack is that the Ghanaian businessman, the Ghanaian entrepreneur is capable of reaching the desired heights once given the needed support. And we are very excited at Stanbic Bank that we are part of this, very exciting and, wonderful journey. When we say that Africa is our home and we drive her growth, this is one of the testaments to that saying.
Traders have been expressing fear over business collapsing in their early stages of existence. President of the Traders Advocacy Group, David Kojo Amwating, called for tax holidays for local businesses to thrive.
And I was glad that GRA was here. These are people that GRA should be helping. When you give him a tax holiday for about 5 years, look at the amount of money he will be saving. Once he saves that money, he's going to use for expansion. Once he expands, he will employ. So we will entreat government to give somebody like Tony Sack, Property Electronics, a tax holiday, a little flexibility for him to operate. And once he's a Ghanaian, indigenous Ghanaian, I think we should help him.
Brand Ambassador for Property Electronics and Home Appliances, Diana Entry Hamilton, is hopeful as local businesses grow, employment opportunities will be created.
The people of Ghana should project up-and-coming businesses so that they will have the freedom and the ability to be able to employ more, reduce the level of unemployment, and then also give people the chance to go into production and help so that we get employment and we get people that can also get jobs.
Mona Lisa Frimpong reporting.
Check out most of our business stories on myjoyonline.com, where we have details on each and every business development happening in Ghana and abroad. In the meantime, we're grateful that you could join us. For me and the rest of the production team, many thanks for watching.